Welcome back to another episode of the Block Runner Podcast. I'm your host, William, always here with your co-host, Iman.
What's going on, dude?
On the sticks, we got TJ.
Hello.
Well, this is the first episode of 2026.
Yeah, we come bearing new guests, I guess.
Yeah, this is our new co-host, Master Chief.
Did you decide this?
He just came up here on his own, dude.
Really? He's been just on your shelf for years. And this is the year where, you know, he decides to hang out with us.
Well, on the shelf is just a mug. This is a new
thing.
New thing, yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. I thought he's been here this whole time. Maybe I've just been manifesting him mentally from all day.
Probably.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm in full support of this.
I mean, he's holding Bitcoin. I mean, we need to give him a NAT coin.
We should get that sphere.
Oh, yeah. We found a sphere. It's probably like 20 grand.
Maybe even more. Who knows?
Yeah, it's like a globe that has LEDs on it, and it just
all
shows
around.
Anything. Yeah.
Yeah, so we would literally just have the gnat just pulsating right next to us all the time.
Yeah.
I think that's next year's goal, dude. 2027.
It's probably 20 grand.
Easy. If we have a good year, it's worth it. But for now, Master Chief will suffice. I think he brings a good aura along with his presence.
Yeah, it makes us feel young, dude.
Not really. Not at all, actually. The young lads are out there with their K-pop demon hunters and stuff on display.
It's lame. Snooze. That's not Master Chief, dude.
I mean, they would differ, dude. They would battle with you.
They would lose.
Maybe.
You always lose to Master Chief. That's part of the lore.
Okay. I don't know the lore that well. But he's pretty cool. So, yeah. 2026, dude.
I told you this 2025 was going to disappear in a blink of an eye.
It really did.
It was this time last year I said 2025 is already gone. Trust me.
What gave you that feeling?
I don't know. It's just like a gut feeling.
Yeah.
This is the fastest year ever in recorded history.
Like for everybody or just for you?
It has to be for everybody.
Well, something is definitely changing in the air, I feel like last year, 2025.
For sure. I mean, at the very beginning of 2025, Trump launched this coin. And that was the beginning of the end.
No, but it's something even deeper than that. I think it's just like the mass realization that AI is actually coming. I think that's what happened last year, 2025. And I think that really did something to everybody's psyche, where like for the first time, like ever, everybody's like questioning their own like personal like value.
Yeah.
It's like their value and worth in unison. And
I can
like,
see that.
Everyone's like discovering, it's like, holy shit. It's like, what am I?
Yeah.
Why am I here? Yeah. Right. And I feel it. You're from like the timeline on Twitter or on YouTube. Maybe that's just my algorithm. I'm just like seeking doom. So maybe that's what the algorithms are feeding me.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I've been this way. But 2025, they really laid it on me pretty heavy, like all year, right? And I think it has something to do with that. It's like the existential angst.
Yeah, you've been this way before AI. Now everybody's this way.
That's true. That's what it is. It's like all of a sudden everybody talks like me. And it's very depressing.
Yeah, I've seen some videos of like college kids, and they're talking about like what's the point of any of this?
Yeah, that's what I mean. There was way more optimism, like you know, these like blind optimists.
Like me.
Yeah, they're just traversing through space and time like everything's excellent, and we're on our way to Valhalla. Whatever that is, doesn't matter. We're going there. We're getting there.
Yeah.
I have nothing to worry about.
Well, now AI is going to get us there way faster, except nobody will have a job.
Or like, will we even need to exist for them to get there at all?
Yeah.
We'll be getting their way.
Yeah, we'll get in their way, yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't know. So hopefully this year changes a little bit as far as like this angst.
So what is my prediction for this year? Is it going to go? I don't think it's going to go as fast, to be honest.
What do you mean? Why do you say that?
I don't know. I think this is going to be one of the more interesting years.
So, okay. That's weird.
I don't know why. I think so. When we talk about exponentials a lot, just because we have to deal with it. As you know, one exponential is Bitcoin, in the sense that it has a decay, right? Every 4 years, it halves. That's an exponential you have to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other exponential is in order to maintain security budget for Bitcoin, it needs to double. That's another exponential we got to deal with.
Yeah.
And but the way that exponentials work is that it's very slow at the beginning, and then it just like takes off fast, like so fast. Your neck will break. That's how fast it's going to be.
Yeah.
And because of that, I think 2026 in the context of AI, and we're at the point where it's like escape velocity fast.
Yeah, I could see that.
And business models are going to change. Businesses, all of them are going to change. The way people think about social media is going to change. Like it's and if you're not thinking about these things right now, you're so far behind. Nobody can see you.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, we're already really thinking deeply how to like reinterpret and restructure our whole like methodologies, I guess, as far as like building, and I don't know, like how to maximally like
utilize this tool,
utilize and integrate AI into like all channels of endeavor, right?
Not only that, AI has disrupted our thesis of the metaverse significantly.
I think so. Yeah, whenever we were first devising our thesis, like as far as like how do we bootstrap like an actual sustainable economic model for the metaverse, a lot of it was heavily reliant on like creator monetization loops, I guess.
I mean, creator effort, human effort.
Yeah, because there was no other option at the time.
Yeah, and if you think about it, before AI, the only output came from humans, and most output came from like creators, right? Developers, creators, things like that.
Yeah, people with very high skill thresholds.
Yes.
They spent a lot of their lives like obtaining these abilities, 3D modeling.
That's right.
3D animation and rigging, just general programming and such.
And
string all these things together to produce, 3D substance, things worth,
Yeah, I mean, any skill-based activity, right? Developing all that stuff. Every app that we have, everything that we have is through this creator outlet. And but what AI does, it makes essentially everybody a creator. Everyone is a developer. Everyone can make apps. And that significantly disrupts what we thought was going to build out the metaverse. In a way where it's like you could build out the metaverse way faster, way cheaper now.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that's just the metaverse landscape. So for sure, basically the accessibilities to the creator economy is going to like explode. In the same way, like, early day YouTube, right?
That's exactly what I was going to bring up.
Yeah, because I remember those days. It seemed like a very exclusive class of people, in a sense, right? That can produce any kind of like content of notability, right? Because
you'd have to get paid millions of dollars to create any video content traditionally.
Right. Yeah, unless you're like in the like vlog space, you don't really need anything. You just need a selfie stick.
Yeah, but that was post YouTube too.
Like post like super early days of YouTube.
Yeah,
I guess. Yeah, but over time, these like creator methodologies, I guess they simplified and they became more accessible.
Well, yeah, anyone with a camera would be able to create content, and the people who created YouTube, we talked about Tom Green before, maybe not on the podcast, but Tom Green was instrumental to Joe Rogan starting a podcast.
Yeah,
and Tom Green saw something with video and like people talking on screen.
Yeah,
like he saw something, and so he did it, and he basically built YouTube, but completely centralized and just on his own, and servers in his closet.
Right.
And then the YouTuber guys, they platformatized what he did, and now made anybody be a creator. And so I think AI enables that, except 1,000-fold with anything, with apps, art, anything.
Yeah. Well, that's good. That's good for anybody.
Really good for the metaverse.
I think just good for everything. Any existing platform that relies on like content output, which is all of them.
Yeah.
Now you could really expect like quite an explosion as far as like user output, right? Because it's more accessible, and the exclusivity of like the creator class, I think it's no longer that.
Yeah, it's not that.
Yeah. Which, if you're one of these creators who allocated, I don't know, a decade or two of your life to like pursuing these crafts, you probably feel a little gut punched right about now.
Yeah.
Right. Because like, dude, all these like non-doers over the last 10 or 20 years, all of a sudden they get to like absorb my superpowers.
Yeah.
And they put none of the work in for that.
Yeah, and the people like developers today, designers, all that, they still have an advantage because they know how things work, and so they can take advantage of these tools a little bit faster. But pretty much, like this creation is going to be commoditized.
What do you mean by that? Commoditized?
Commoditized in the sense that a person who has no development experience will be able to create a well-designed app that functions as good as a developer could create.
Right.
And these apps are going to appeal to like extremely small niches and be independently successful just because their overhead costs are negligible.
Yeah. So I guess in light of all that, so that's what's exciting you, because there's a little bit of like an unpredictable
100%
like layer to all this, right? Because now there's such a increase in like potential energy, I guess. It's like where do the kinetic fields or the resulting kinetic fields that come out of this? That's what I'm waiting for, because it's cool to see AI videos and AI shit posts, but I don't feel like we've really broken through any new layers yet.
I feel like this was like the early days of YouTube. It's like, okay, people are creating content, you're watching people say stuff, but there wasn't really anything of use on YouTube.
Yeah, for sure.
And it was like that for a good minute, right? Were bum fights hosted on YouTube?
No, I think that was E-Bomb's World.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I'm sure there was some early, like...
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
I mean, that was a very popular genre.
Yeah.
At least for the kids.
So bum fights is like...
Well, that was like one of the... It was a genre.
Yeah.
Right? And then it was like vloggers.
Right.
And then... What else?
FaZe Clan. FaZe Clan popped out of nowhere. Just made like gaming culture. Like,
gaming.
Cool.
Yeah, that was like... Gaming is one of the biggest sectors on YouTube.
Oh, absolutely. Mukbanging, just came out of nowhere.
See, but that's like a niche that you wouldn't think, like if you were the founders of YouTube, you wouldn't think mukbang.
So like people are really gonna like watching other people just gorge themselves to death.
Yeah, that's not a thing.
That's gonna be a banger.
Yeah,
that's what I mean. That's also exciting to me. Is like those are the unpredictable kinetic fields that emerge from all of this.
Yeah,
because of what YouTube enabled, I guess, and other platforms like it, TikTok and Instagram or whatever. It just gives human beings more, I don't know, potential to create. So now with AI, what's going to be the mukbang of the future?
That's right.
Right.
That's right. What is it?
I don't know.
I can't. We can't even like hypothesize. Postulate?
Well, I'm thinking it has to come from the metaverse sector of things, just because that is like the most untapped source of content at the moment, because of its like difficulty barrier. Like that's the real issue.
Yeah, that's so true. So true.
So if that difficulty barrier, like if the people who are leveraging AI to produce new tools, if they do it in like a proper way, so that like the everyday user now has some ability to concoct the way they are able to on YouTube.
Yeah.
Then I could foresee somebody will figure something out that's like sticky enough for
that's true.
X amount of people out there.
I think that's what's missing in for the metaverse, is that before AI, it was just extremely expensive to experiment.
Extremely. We have
firsthand experience.
Super firsthand experience. We've seen people
being
granted millions of dollars to build a very minimal experience
and vaporize.
Like couldn't even get halfway through it.
Yeah.
And like spending those millions of dollars.
Yep.
And like a year to 2 years of work, actual work with like, 10 to 15 people on a team.
Yeah.
And it just like can't come to fruition because it's just that costly and
you can't experiment. Like even if you were to finish your project and you were to finish it, launch it, it's likely not going to work because it's just one of a million different permutations that you could have done.
Yeah, like you never had an opportunity to even like test any viability of product market fit. Like you have to kind of bank all of your resources on like an unproven like product. And then by the time you may not even get to like full execution.
Yeah.
Because it's that difficult, right? So like the issue with the metaverse is like a lack of iteration, right?
That's right.
But like on Web 2 native platforms like YouTube, TikTok, I mean it's people are iterating all day.
That's right.
Every day, new dances, right?
Yeah.
Will this one go viral? We don't know.
Remember NPCs?
Yeah.
That was a genre.
Yeah. Somebody just figured, I don't know. What did they do again? They're just like
non-player characters. They're just like
I know what NPC means. What were they doing?
They were just like emote.
Yeah, they were just
based on donations.
Yeah. So it's like, ice cream so good.
That's right.
And then
so like the community would give them an emote, and that emote correlated to some sort of phrase, right? Or like
but I suspect that emote came with like, a tip, $1.
Right. Yeah, I did. I think. And what else? Why would you do this?
Why would you do that? Yeah. So I mean,
exactly.
You couldn't predict that.
Absolutely not. I mean, unless you're Black Mirror,
That's true.
They predict a lot of these things.
They do.
But so yeah, like that's been the internet and the cultural manifestation up until this point, pre-AI.
Right? Yeah. Have we seen any like genres sort of like, pick up because of AI? I think maybe like productivity.
Brain
apps.
rot's the only thing I've seen so far.
Maybe so. Yeah, that's probably good.
Where it's like the kids are speaking new language, like singing along to some non-human language.
Yes, that makes sense.
Yeah, because it's AI. It's an AI everything.
I feel like that says a lot about music, is that it doesn't have to like make sense for people to like it.
That's always been the case for me. I've never listened to like lyrics. I've been all about the melody and the beat. It's like if that resonates, then I'm in.
Yeah, to me, if the song is speaking English or Chinese, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
like it sounds good. I like it. That's it.
Yeah, I've never been the type like I could like sing along with some song because I have like some lyrics stored in my brain.
Yeah, same.
Never. I'm like, how are you?
I only know one song. I only know one song, and it's "Forgot About Dre."
The whole thing.
The whole thing.
Holy shit, that's crazy. I don't think I have one song that I memorize all the lyrics, but I am impressed that other people.
Not even Linkin Park, dude.
No song.
Not even In the End. It's amazing.
No, sorry, dude. Sorry to disappoint you. But yeah, so
I don't know if that's a common thing though. I know a lot of people that enjoy lyrics a lot.
That's what I'm saying. It's more common for people to like regurgitate, or to digest lyrics and be able to regurgitate them.
That's weird.
Yeah, I think it's pretty weird too. It's like how come I can't do that? Like people do that regularly.
Yeah, it's hard for me to hear the words of any new song. Like I just don't hear it.
Yeah, me neither. It's mostly girls, by the way, who do this very well. Yeah, maybe it's something about the girl brain. The female brain is just much more. That's why they remember everything, right? They recall shit you did from like 5 or 6 years ago, and like bring it back and shove it in your face.
Yeah,
they just have like the best memory.
Who hurt you, man?
I'm just saying. I don't have a good memory, dude. I barely remember like my adolescence at this point.
Yeah, but then again, I mean, you have rap songs that are completely dependent on the lyrics, like Eminem. I mean, he's a surgeon.
That's why I never liked Eminem. TBH.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I never thought his songs were really that good.
Wow,
that's bananas. That's the craziest take of 2025.
Absolutely agree.
It's 2026 now, guys. Remember?
That's right. Power of editing.
That's right. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just a weirdo. Clock it in. That's what it is. It is what it is, dude. I'm not ashamed.
Unacceptable, actually, but
it is what it is.
Yeah. So that's AI. I think it's going to make a bigger impact this year than it did last year.
Yeah. So one thing we're gonna get back in on is making more content again, because I agree with you. Even though like the sentiment's been pretty low, I would say all of last year, basically. Maybe more so the second half than the first half. I don't know. It was
I would agree. Yeah, I would agree.
It's definitely a weird year, but we can't allow that to completely, take us off course. Meaning, we've always had our finger on the pulse for the last 6 years or so since we've been on this channel. So like, these periods of low sentiment, this is like the opportune moment in most cases where, you want to really pay attention and identify the next iterations of like progress in the context of crypto, which, that's what we've been about. So that's what we're going to reestablish our groundings around next year. Right. And there's a lot of things actually, like, one of the hardest challenges being in this space is like not allowing emotions to like really just derail you. Right.
So true.
And just like overreacting to like things of the now and like being completely oblivious of the big picture. Right.
Yeah, that's what I don't fully comprehend yet as far as social media and reactions. I feel like these reactions are over exaggerated on purpose.
Yes.
But it's not obvious.
Well, it's just the people who are naturally inclined to overreact to things and be like more emotionally exuberant.
Yeah,
they tend to claim dominance in like the attention market share.
Yeah.
Because, that's what grabs your attention, right? Somebody who lost a little bit of money on a creator coin goes on X and like
claims the whole creator coin concept is flawed.
And he's like, I'm about to do it, guys. I got the rope hanging right there. Like, any minute now, I just can't handle this anymore.
Yeah.
Right. And so it's like, wow, that guy is really upset. And like, hey, I'm upset too. I'm going to really resonate with this message.
So maybe that's how we need to be. We need to be over exaggerated on Twitter.
Well, I don't know.
Maybe that's the only way to be.
That's impossible for you. Maybe that's more like my role and responsibility is to like actually take my takes.
You know what? We should experiment for real. So we take anything that we're about to tweet. So I have the more sensible tweet, and then you just like overreact.
What do you mean?
No matter what it is,
like a tweet
like
or like
positive or negative.
Yeah, you gotta be the Stephen A. Smith.
Yeah, that's right. And you're the, I don't know.
Stephen A. Who's the other guy?
You're that guy in that like on that PBS channel, Charlie Rose.
Huh?
Charlie Rose.
I mean, it sounds familiar.
He's got like everything's just like a black background. There's like nothing going around. It's like Charlie he's like Rose. So just chill.
Right.
this guy? Yeah.
Wow, dude, insulting.
What do you mean? He's the most stable of commentators, He's look at his.
I don't think I've ever seen this guy in my life.
Yeah, it looks kind of familiar, but I don't know.
You guys are upset I'm not an Eminem fanboy. I'm upset that you guys don't know Charlie Rose. Dude, this guy is a man of culture.
All right, so
a man of society.
What does he do?
Just find a YouTube clip. He's an interviewer. He's a journalist.
Oh, right? I think I have seen him.
He's like in people like major movies like reference him all the time. Like, when somebody becomes big in the world, it's like Charlie Rose.
Yeah.
But like, his ambiance, his essence is calmness, I would say. Come on.
Damn, this is a day ago.
He's still alive.
Oh, he's got a black eye?
What the hell?
Man.
What happened, dude?
Dude, that's a serious thing. Maybe Stefan Diggs got to him, dude. Fucking A, dude. You're strangling everyone out there.
Wow, what happened, dude?
I don't know. Let's peer in.
We're going to have to...
Peter O'Toole is here over the past...
let me mute this, because...
Well, I don't think there's any music. Is that what you're
No, not necessarily music, but just overall...
Okay, well, you get the vibes, right?
So it says Peter O'Toole on his acting career.
This is it. I mean, if this isn't like calm reporting, I don't know what is, dude. All right. So that's going to be you.
I mean, this looks like it was made in the... I don't know. Is this correct? I guess.
I don't know either, to be honest.
Hold on.
It comes in.
Well, it's... I'm in my... and this is the way did lay, and with
I'm trying to find
the rest.
Nothing to do with it.
Well, I'm sure they had something to do with.
Okay, but I get it now.
Okay,
yeah,
get the reference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you got to overreact, and let's just see if it works.
But what do you mean though? Like how?
Like Spider Pool announces,
but like a tweet, like a written tweet. Or
yeah,
like
I mean, that's what we see on Twitter all the time, right? Just overreactions.
Yeah, but yeah.
So Spiderpool announces the dashboard, right, for NAT distribution. And then I was like, cool, we've done it, guys. That's my tweet. And then what do you say?
It's got to be a 20-second video of you FaceTiming yourself, walking around the house.
That's what I was exactly
like hyperventilating.
That's what I was thinking.
Like, guys, I just got the word.
I mean, there is a video of me like whenever Bitmap blocked out.
I remember that.
I remember recording myself, and I definitely wasn't like sober when I did that. But I think I don't know how if you could ever like scrape that up anymore.
It's out there.
Let me see if I can find it. But this is probably a good representation of what we're talking about. Yeah, there's no way I'm gonna be able to find this.
Yeah, but basically with that same energy, just overreacting, like this is gonna change humanity.
That's how I felt in that time. Like when Bitmap blocked out for the first time, I was like, "Holy shit!"
Yeah,
because think about it. This was like a nothing burger of a thing that we found out about, and within a month or so, all the blocks of Bitcoin were officially claimed for the first time ever.
It was huge.
It was weird. It's like we stepped into some other like realm of reality, and it felt like it. So that was like an authentic, genuine, like, holy shit!
That was a real reaction. That was an overreaction.
Yeah, but if it was like I was like proclaiming things like this is, I don't even remember what I said. It was like this is
the time is now.
You remember more than me, dude.
I do.
See, it was impactful. But yeah, I don't know if I could just invoke that for like any little thing that's happening, right?
Well, yeah, but I think that's how you social media, right?
I know. So what you're saying is I need to skill up.
Yeah.
You know, that's one of my things I've added to my vision board. So we're vision boarding, guys, in case you didn't know. For some of you, that might be like super bullish.
That was so 2009, guys.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. For others, you might have lost all respect for us once we said we're vision boarding. But I don't know. I felt like it's a concept I heard of all the way back in college, actually pre-college days. And I think I like executed on it. A nice little vision board when I was like 19, 20.
Yeah.
But then it like fell off my wall behind my computer space, and I like never
Dream is dead now.
Yeah, it's over, I guess. That's the end of my life pursuits. And it just stayed there for years. So obviously most of these things never manifested, I guess. So I was like, let me try again.
Yeah, that was your mistake, dude.
Absolutely. But I got like halfway there to a lot of things.
Yeah.
But not all the way.
Yeah, so vision boarding, it is important because it's easy to forget stuff, and it's even harder to maintain consistency. And if you're not seeing it every day, it's hard to be consistent.
100%.
So
yeah, so it's one of the things that because, you know, like you're saying, next year is a massive year for a lot of reasons, not just AI and all these like kinetic field emergences as a result of that.
Yeah.
But, you know, like in the context of NAT and DMT and all this stuff, I mean, talk about a new medium with the potential to like cross-sect with AI emergence, right? Like,
oh yeah, 100%.
If all of a sudden the ability to create has expanded tremendously or exponentially.
Yeah, a genre could be digital matter.
Exactly. It's a whole new medium of experimentation to kind of like, okay, I'm getting my grips on handles on this AI technology as a creator. Oh, look, there's this whole other substrate layer unlocked in tandem. Like, this is perfect timing. Like really sink my teeth into some like some digital constructing.
Yeah,
right?
I totally agree.
But we have to do the right thing. So like do our version of what big tech has done for AI. So make things more, I don't know, cohesive and accessible, whatever.
So on our vision board, we have CoinGecko modified. And CoinGecko, imagine that there is a sector here on CoinGecko. We have total crypto market cap at 3 trillion. And then there's like right next to it a total market cap of non-arbitrary tokens at 1 trillion.
Yeah. So if you guys, this isn't the first time. We've had this vision for a while now. Ever since like DMT started, it's like, dude, one day they're gonna add a new tab on CoinGecko.
That's right.
Because it needs to be blatantly obvious. There's like a whole new paradigm to these crypto markets that didn't exist before, right?
Yeah.
Arbitrary versus non-arbitrary.
Yeah.
So it's like the collective value of everything up until now is whatever it is. Let's see.
Yeah.
Gecko.
It's 3 trillion.
Yeah. It's sitting at 3 trillion right now, and half of that is basically Bitcoin.
That's right.
Right. So this is it. We finally get to actually see it because of AI.
Yeah, and so if we have a total market cap of $1 trillion for non-arbitrary tokens, and we assume the same ratio for Bitcoin and all the tokens here at 3 trillion is about half, then that means NAT would be at 500 billion.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good North Star, would you say?
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah,
that's the brightest North Star I could imagine.
Yeah, because apparently you need one of those.
Yeah.
They used, what's his name? Gary Vee as an example.
They did.
His North Star is the ability to purchase the New York Jets. I don't know who the hell would want to do that, but
Yeah. You'll turn them around, dude.
maybe. Yeah, but still, a worthy goal, I guess, to set for yourself to kind of like keep you on that hamster wheel.
Sure.
As long as it takes until you finally achieve it, right?
Yeah, I wonder what the financial dynamics of that is. Like, how do you actually purchase a $1.2 billion organization? You need like cash up front or take a loan out, or how does that work?
That's a great question. Yeah, it's like, can I send them some Bored Apes? You know, do you accept CryptoPunks?
Some shares? Yeah.
Yeah. Some V Friends,
Yeah.
edition 1 and 2.
Yeah, does that mean that I own the New York Jets if I own some V-Punks? Or V-Friends, I should say?
No, definitely not. And that's part of the issue, right?
Yeah, so that's a good segue.
It is a good it's a segue, and it's something we think deeply about regularly, right? Is the contextual value props, I guess, around the creator economy in a sense. Like, yeah, there's AI and stuff, which is now expanding access for users, in any demographic. But it's like, all right, now how do we construct new business models, new market verticals?
Yeah.
Whatever, new methodologies of discovering value, right? Because if everybody has the ability to create, that means assume there's going to be like an oversupply of creation.
And I think this applies not only to just creators, but all of crypto. Like, if you're holding a token, what rights do you have? What does it mean to be a holder of a token for the most part?
Yeah, and like this is like the first bear cycle, I guess, where people are really starting to hone in on that realization. Is like, we're kind of sick and tired of these like speculative waves that come and go.
Yeah.
And like, it's just that's really all it is. It does feel like just perpetual casino games. When are we actually going to feel like true investors, right?
Yeah.
So what does that entail? Like, what would you assume, like, for crypto people to actually become like a genuine investor class? What would you expect?
I mean, the thing that comes to mind the quickest is some sort of dividend.
God damn it.
I know,
right? Like, for sure.
That's like the easiest one. But then again, there's not a whole lot of crypto projects that are just slinging it out there in terms of revenue.
Yeah, they're not.
It's like a handful with like really good revenues.
Yeah. So is the thing, so.
Hey, TG, do you mind turning on the fan, the left one there?
Yeah, it's toasty now. All these cameras and lights.
Damn, told you the wrong one, dude. No, that was good.
Oh, what was I going to say? So what about the things that like platforms like Pump are doing? Yeah, it's not like a direct dividend to people who hold the token, but they're, using revenues to buy back this token. Is that
but that is a common action in stocks in the traditional finance world, where they buy back their own stocks, and that provides liquidity to their own stocks, and it's basically like people who want to cash out, they'll get a little bit of their revenue as long as they sell the stock. So it's kind of the same thing, but I mean, that's a regulated environment, right? And so if you do that, there's some sort of implications here.
Yeah. Well, so we've seen the results, I guess, of stablecoin legislation. It's like now the rails of such seem to be pretty well understood, and now we're seeing a rapid proliferation of new primitives, I guess, of stablecoin usage. Therefore, you can foresee like some new market verticals emerging from that.
Yeah.
That'll be one of the main things we focus on this year in 2016.
Yeah. 2026.
Sorry. Damn, I'm 10 years behind, dude.
Whoa.
I'm really trying to go back. If you can't
That was
tell.
a good year.
2016? Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not bad. You would have liked to be in crypto in 2016.
All the numbers go up in 2016.
Yeah, that's a good year to be in crypto for sure. Damn. So we might be there. This is
maybe so.
We're
due, dude. 10 years.
This is the year you want to be in crypto then, because maybe 2027 implies like what 2017 was, right?
Yeah. So I guess
to rainbow charts.
Yeah, but I was gonna say.
I knew that was coming.
Looking at the charts here, 2026 to 2027.
We'll go back to 2016.
Okay, 2016. Yeah.
Let's see what was going on back then. See if there's some like
parallels.
Eerie reminiscence. Yeah. Yeah, we're going really back in time, dude.
Yeah, this is disgusting here. Here's January 2016.
That's it.
$400 price Bitcoin,
Holy
January.
God. But like healthily in the blue, right?
Yeah. $300 Bitcoin all the way to $20,000.
I mean, yeah, I remember these days, like in 2017, people were looking back, people who have been in the space since like 2013, right?
Yeah.
They were talking about like, man, what a brutal winter that was. It's like we held for 4 years, basically nothing. It was all down and sideways.
Yeah.
Like, look at that. So there's kind of some parallel there. It's kind of like how it feels right now. It's like we almost like a cycle never happened.
Yeah, I agree. It feels like a cycle hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, like we've been in like a brutal winter actually for the last 4 years, and maybe it's some sort of like some build up to something in 2027 potentially, right?
Yeah, I don't know. Since 2021, all time high here, $69,000, whatever it is. This is November 2021. We're in January 2026. That's 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it went down, and yeah, people claim that number went up, but did it really? It just stayed essentially in the blue. Like if it stays in the blue, number really didn't go up. It just stayed the same.
Yeah, and especially when you factor in gold, right? Other hard assets, I guess. It's actually been going down.
Yeah, that's right.
In response to that. And yeah, precious metals continue to go up and climb, and so do equities, and it's definitely not a natural feeling.
So that's a signal, right? That's a signal where all the metals like palladium, copper, silver, gold, they all go up. That's like some sort of signal out in the macroverse that people are de-risking into hard assets.
Yes.
And then there's another thesis out there that that is happening, and eventually it has like they said 12 to 18 month lag for that to transition to Bitcoin. I think it was 6 to 18 month lag.
So when was the last like period where this was happening?
I think it was COVID, so 2020. But even in the COVID era, not all the metals went up.
Yeah, it wasn't happening. It's never been like this. Like for sure for silver.
Yeah.
Like, silver's been like a dormant asset for a decade or two. Yeah. I know because I was harvesting for a long time, waiting for that, return to the mean. It never happened. But all of a sudden it's happening, with everything else at once. It's very weird, very awkward macro situation, right? So it's hard to really like pin the needle on exactly what's going on, other than like it just could be like a reaction to hyperinflation across the board, I guess, or is it just an oversaturation of that being like a macro concern, right?
Yeah, and I think if you're a rational thinker, if all the metals are going up, you would imagine that Bitcoin is going to follow suit at some point.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, why is there a lag? Is it because?
Well, because we have these metals, they've been around for forever. And they've been used as like a hedge against fiat currency.
Right.
And so there's on ramps and off ramps for those established already. So it's easy to get in and out of those things rather than it is for Bitcoin.
Really? I thought like it's easier to get into Bitcoin
Well,
than anything. That's kind of like its selling point, right?
Yeah, but I mean, we're talking about 100-year-old assets here from traditional finance.
Yeah, I guess you're talking about really like the demographics at play here, right? It's like
that
old
too.
money.
That too, yeah.
Actual ancient wells.
Yeah.
Actual people that move with real size.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
They're not going to do that through Bitcoin, even though like, you know, it's easily accessible
it's
through
on,
some app.
Yeah, some app.
It's on my grocery app at this point, you know.
Right.
I could
right next to the grocery app.
Yeah, but that's not what they're going to do, right? They're going to
go to their Fidelity account.
Yeah. So because they're traditionally like the demographic, I guess, most in tune and again with the most liquidity able to move markets like this.
Yeah, it's just accessible. And I don't think Bitcoin is. It's becoming accessible. It's becoming traditionalized. But yeah, I think that's why there's that lag. And so if that lag does occur, then we should see new all-time highs for Bitcoin, at least in the green, right in the middle of 2026. So July 2026, if we get in the green, we're almost at 200,000. And that's just in the green, which is just, you know,
that's going to be weird.
Forgettable.
Yeah. It's just like when it was hovering around 100K, it felt very forgettable too.
Yeah.
It was like, this is actually very not cool.
Yeah.
But, you know, 6 years ago, you were just like dreaming about that day.
That's right, yeah.
So imagine 100K Bitcoin, dude. It's going to be insane, but it totally wasn't.
Yeah, it wasn't.
It was like the least insane thing happening at the time. It's like nobody was talking about it.
And it should have been the most insane thing.
Yeah. So 200K is going to feel probably even
more forgettable.
Yeah. So I think you literally don't hit those psychological toppers until you hit orange and red.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like, that's when people start to like lose their minds. Right.
Yeah.
It's kind of like precious metals are doing that right now. It's like, I would assume if there's a rainbow chart for gold.
Yeah, if you're holding metals for, 5 to 10 years and it just spikes all of a sudden, you're supposed to sell it, right?
I would think so. I don't know. I would.
Yeah, why not?
Maybe. So maybe that's I don't know.
I mean, what?
I wouldn't know what it's like to manage wealth, so don't ask me, dude. You know.
Yeah, well, I guess I think gold is down and silver is down like 10%.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a huge swing.
Is it really?
I think it is.
But I think it's back up. I feel like it's at all-time highs.
Well, yeah, maybe gold is all-time highs, but silver did dip 10%.
Oh, because it's like so volatile now because it's been going up so drastically. Yeah, gold is so it hit 45.52 last week, and now it's at 43.63. So yeah. Okay. Some volatility happening, but it could still go up from here.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I don't know. Another thing to track this year.
Yeah, so now we talked about kind of like setting our frame of reference here. But earlier we were talking about how creator coins, they sort of require some initial, I don't want to say demands, but expectations.
Yeah, I don't know. Whether it's creator coins or just any coin, really, it still hasn't really been defined on like what is the most optimal version, I guess, of a crypto coin. And it's hyper relevant to what kind of market these crypto tools are servicing.
And part of why we still don't know this answer exactly is because we had 4 years of Gary Gensler bringing the hammer down, so no one really experimented.
That's true. Yeah, I think that's a big thing. And we've seen so the stablecoin regulation came in like summer, which is like 6 months ago.
Yeah.
But even within that 6 month time frame, like so much has already kind of been erected as a result of that. Like a very quick, rapid mobilization from all the way from capital to like, different iterations of new products and services around all that.
Yeah, even stable coins have white labels.
Yeah.
We can launch our own block runner stablecoin, dude.
I'm about that. Let's do that.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to follow regulations and all that stuff, and it's part of the brand.
Why not, dude? I don't know.
Yeah, and so this guy summarizes it pretty succinctly here. He says, I don't believe creator coins are going to work. On Twitch or YouTube, the relationship between creator and viewer is simple. Someone watches, enjoys, and maybe donates. On Pump Fun or Zora, they buy a token. From that moment, they are no longer just fans, they are investors. Fans care about content, investors care about price going up. The creator stops being a person and becomes an asset that needs more and more hype just to keep its price up. I don't understand how this is sustainable in the long term, and as proof, not a single creator token has managed to stay up. What has managed to stay up? So this is a wild expectation to have.
Yeah, it's because it's a bit of people assuming this is the next class of meme coin, I guess, and then there was some period of time where some meme coins had some like sustained upward momentum, but even those, over a long enough time frame, revert back downwards, right?
Yeah, but it's like the S&P 500, right? If you zoom out, it only goes up, but it only goes up partly because of inflation.
Yeah,
that's why it only goes up. But the other part is you have 500 companies contributing to the proliferation of progress, right? So, and then Bitcoin, it goes up on average, right? Every 4 years, it's up, but it also goes down, right? If you zoom in. So I don't understand like the expectations where, how are these supposed to just go up and then that's it?
Well, I guess that's part of the course of like why we discuss these things in the first place. Cause it's like, clearly there's some value to pursuing this idea of tokenizing the value of some individual, right? We can label them anything. Artists,
Nick Shirley in this case.
Creators. Yeah, this case it's a independent journalist, right?
Yeah.
Who's achieved some notable virality. He's done some good work, and society is recognizing that, not necessarily through his coin, which is why we're frustrated, right? It's like, Fox News, he's probably getting banged by Tucker Carlson.
Yeah.
All the big conservative heads out there, like they want his scoop.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So why aren't the coins that he launched reflecting that, like, that kinetic energy as they should, as you would expect, right?
Yeah,
like, what's wrong here?
I definitely would expect more for sure. But that tells me since it didn't do good, that means there's just not a whole lot of people paying attention to crypto at the moment.
Probably.
That's the data.
That's
I'm
like
gathering.
the simple explanation, right? It's just not good market timing for something like this. But if conditions were good, like they were 2 years ago, a year ago, then some event like this would be people are complaining that the creator coin was a $9 million topper.
Yes.
And the content post itself was only like 2 or 3 million. There it is.
Yeah.
These things would be probably 10 to 50 to 100x like higher.
Yeah, so if you guys don't know what we're talking about, Nick Shirley went, I don't know if he's in Minnesota or went to Minnesota, but he was at these centers that are specifically dedicated to daycare centers. And he exposed them for committing fraud because there were no children at any of the 10 or 15 different daycare centers that he visited.
Yeah, which are getting like government stipends, I guess.
Yeah, and so he basically showed that there was $100 million worth of fraud over like 2 years inside the 10 or 15 different daycare centers. And one of them, he takes a picture of it, and one of them says Quality Learning Center, which was misspelled as a learning center.
Yeah.
And then he posted this on Zora, and like Iman was saying, it went almost to 3 million, and right now it's at 168,000.
Yeah, so
overnight, like in a few hours.
Well, you can look at the chart, the little widget down there.
Yeah. Yeah, so
I mean, we're
less
talking
than a few hours.
Less than an hour, maybe even. So it's like if your only opportunity at upside was like within the moment of it being posted, right? And that's what's upsetting to people, right? Because it's literally only go down tech.
Yeah. So my other comment to this is, had Nick Shirley launched the video within Zora, maybe it would have had drastically different results. Because I feel like the content in the video had.
But you mean like exclusively only on Zora? Like
yeah,
nowhere else?
Yeah, I guess for the purposes of this conversation, yes, exclusively.
then it probably wouldn't have hit mainstream.
Maybe not.
Nerves.
I disagree.
Really?
Right, because crypto people, they're sort of paying attention to Zora and what Coinbase is doing and all that stuff. They would have found this video and they would have pushed it.
I don't know. I don't know. Crypto people, they are like political, like
maybe not, but still, it is a viral worthy content. I mean, $100 million worth of fraud, and then you have some governor basically perpetuating the fraud, according to what most people are saying.
Yeah,
and like this is it's shareable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. This is what's.
And I think that's part of the problem here is that we don't have creators exclusively creating content for this platform. They're instead doing it for Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram.
Yeah, as they should, right?
I mean that's where the people are at. Yeah, for sure. But this is a new business model, and you can't really fully test it until we have.
Well, I feel like it's been tested. He made like 50 grand here collectively, 10 grand from the post coin. 40,000 from the creator coin.
Yeah, but okay, for sure. But this was like not natively like content. It's not native content.
No, not at all. It's just
it's just like a throwaway thing. It's like a side gig.
I mean, it's like another form of like a Patreon, right? It's in a sense. It's
for sure.
Where if you're a Patreon, you're going to donate to this guy because you appreciate his investigative capabilities. You want him to bust more fraud out there, right? He's the fraud buster. He should really rebrand himself here.
Yeah.
Right? And so yeah, it's like, oh, I can go to your Patreon and just directly donate, or I guess in this case, buy a coin and potentially share on the upside of his like future trajectory as a creator or a brand. But right now, in like 24 hours, which all this is happening within, so people are making conclusions within a 24-hour time frame, which is like mistake number one.
Yes,
across the board.
Yeah,
and it's attributable to people's like over reaction and the emotional state of things.
Yeah, and their short attention span.
Whatever, right?
Yeah,
but still, it's like there's an opportunity there that you don't get from legacy support models like Patreon, right?
True.
There is no potential for an upside. It's flat. You've given out your money.
Yeah.
You've got you're not involved in anything, which is fine. Not everybody wants to speculate on things, but there are a lot of people that do. I feel like prediction markets are proving that, it's really broadened the expectations as far as like speculative behavior. I never would have imagined it would have got to this degree, but it is, and it's mainstream at this point, right? So,
yes, it is.
So yeah, like a creator content market doesn't seem like it's stretched beyond those bounds already established by prediction markets.
No, I agree. I agree.
Yeah, but like you're saying, there's just not enough people around to really partake here. So so results are diminished, and expectations aren't met. Therefore, people are pissed.
Yeah, I guess they're pissed because they have memories of a squirrel dying, token going to 1 billion, right?
Those are good times, dude. That is so. Yeah, you're 100% correct.
And so now we have one of the most viral things happening.
Yeah,
and it gets posted on Zora, which is another bullish thing, right?
Yeah, you got Brian Armstrong, Jesse.
Just the idea that Nick Shirley, just a YouTuber, exposes this like deep fraud, happens to post as well on Zora. Like, to me, those seem like two different worlds.
Yeah, up until now.
And they've collided, and you would expect from on paper to do better.
You're making me want to buy here, dude. You're right. Two worlds have converged.
Yeah.
The tips have been met, dude. Finally.
The tips have touched.
Yeah. So it's like, what's going on? What's wrong with this market? Why aren't we like all just aping in?
Yeah. To me, it's because people are just not paying attention. They're not in crypto anymore. They're doing something else, like trying to figure out how to, get around this AI thing.
I agree. Yeah, building their Roblox servers, stuff like that.
Yeah, you shared a tweet about some kid thinking about quitting life.
Like all of society just to
just to
make money on Roblox.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
probably not a bad move.
No, but he's in Indonesia, and the average salary over there is like $800 a month.
Right.
And so he's not like essentially killing it out there to be.
No, but it's good enough from his perspective.
Yeah,
right?
but no.
It's like I want to subject myself to like all these years in college to become, I don't know, a doctor or making like barely anything more than what I'm doing.
I get it from. I agree. I don't think college is completely necessary. But what makes it completely unnecessary is the cost of college. There's some gain from college that is not the education part.
What, like social?
Yeah.
Like networking and all that?
Yeah, discipline, all that stuff.
I mean, just go to the gym, dude. Go to the gym.
Yeah, it's just right now college is too expensive for the value that you're getting.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that. It's part of the course of the sentiment, right? Of existential angst felt across the board.
Yeah.
It's like not even these long relied upon like traditions and institutions and like societal blueprints are starting to, lose their allure.
Yeah.
Like college, dude. It's like, it's
it used to be the thing that you kind of look forward to. Now it's like, it's an obvious no.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's starting to veer into that direction. So anyways, creator coins, content coins, internet capital markets, all these things are going to be tremendously relevant in 2026 as far as like figuring out how they will evolve and mature, especially after the Clarity Act, which I think is scheduled to be like unveiled in January.
Yeah.
So this month.
Yes, finally.
So that's going to be big. Once it does come out, then we truly need to wrap our mentals around what it is and what it enables. And
maybe there's some element of abiding by regulations when it comes to creator coins that has some viability in the market.
Yeah. And then it gives the market this like, satiates their demand for like something of actual long-term value that like entitles you to something more than just speculative vapor of the now, right?
Yeah, and if you're going to be an independent creator like Nick Shirley, you sort of want these things to be developed because the next time something else goes viral and you're already, using the new infrastructure, then you're not making 50 grand. You're making $1 million because something went viral.
100%. Yeah, that's the Goldilocks zone we're aiming for, right? And that's what I mean by there's something there because crypto keeps trying, whether it's what was it, social tokens, and then friend tech, and then just it keeps proliferating in different form factors, right? But
this is the experimentation that we need.
Yeah, eventually, hopefully, something will click.
Yeah,
and then from there, it's like explosion, right?
Yeah, like a new genre emerges from a new tech.
So speaking of internet capital markets, there's a little short video. Do we have that, or should we show that, or?
We don't have that.
Damn.
It's gonna be posted.
When?
Maybe by the time you see this video, it's gonna be posted.
So there's a little end of year wrap up video.
That's right.
And a little teaser at the end.
Yes, pay attention.
Yeah, let us know what you think because
watch to the very end.
Yeah, as exciting as the space can be, like overall, for us Nat joyers, Nat believers, things should really spice up, right?
Yeah, and there's a couple of updates with the Nat token. We have Spider Pool and we have F2 Pool testing their distributions. Now, this is speculation. I don't know for sure what exactly is going on behind closed doors there, but they're moving like, a few billions here and there. And so I suspect that they're moving them so that they can distribute the Nat tokens to the rightful owners and contributors of the pools.
Wow. Yeah, that's big.
It's really big. You're underplaying it here, man. You're supposed to over-exaggerate.
How's that, dude?
Oh my god,
that was definitely over-exaggerated.
Scared me.
You called for it, dude. I'm sorry for the damage to them.
That's poor Master Chief.
I mean, other than destroying my computer, I can't think of anything else, dude.
I'm glad you didn't destroy your computer. Yes, but is that shocking that we have these Bitcoin miners moving NAT and distributing to the pool participants?
Yeah, man. I'm losing my mind here. Clearly, obviously, I've become suddenly violent out of nowhere, out of pure shock and awe, dude. Am I doing it right, dude? Is this how you go viral on the internet?
Yeah, steroids is a bad idea, dude.
I didn't say anything about steroids. But
we got to post that video.
Let's see if it works.
Yeah.
I mean, is that the emotional outbursts that the algorithm is seeking? I don't know. That's a good test.
We're going to find out.
Next time one of us is going to have a black eye, dude, not Charlie Rose. So we can't contain ourselves anymore, dude.
Yeah, we'll know if it worked if it had 200 retweets.
Yeah, we'll see. It's good test.
But yeah, Spider Pool, F2 Pool, and yeah, hopefully they release their dashboard here pretty soon in the next couple of weeks. But yeah, NAT is huge, and it needs to reach $1 billion market cap.
It must, and it
in
will.
2026, because if it doesn't, it's going to eventually, because Bitcoin is not going to double forever, right? So it's just a matter of time.
Yeah, the problem's too large, and it's too underaddressed, and that is like too perfectly molded to solve it, and it's just whatever, dude. I mean, to us, it's perfect.
Yeah, screw
it really is.
Master Chief doesn't know anything.
That's right. That's why he's laying there lifeless on the floor, dude. We can reanimate him though with AI.
Oh shit, that's a good idea.
Dude, that would be pretty cool.
It like comes back and starts shooting at you.
Beats the shit out of me. It's like, you motherfucker. Dude, we can actually do that, I think.
We could.
We did a lot of work, but maybe that would really sell the idea of like AI really is like making everybody super powerful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who knows? A little comeback story.
All right. Well, that's it for us. Congratulations on surviving 2025. It was an interesting year for sure.
Yeah.
But 2026 should be a lot more interesting. And if you're holding NAT tokens, consider yourself on the edge and the forefront of solving a huge Bitcoin problem that everyone is going to be talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, the goal is to reach $1 billion. So share it with your mothers, share it with your family, your brothers, and
your enemies.
And your enemies, for sure.
Always.
Those are the most important.
Yeah.
All right, guys. We'll catch you in the next podcast. Appreciate you.
Peace.